Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Matt Chat's Going In Raw Matt Chat. It's a show that I think is a lot of fun because in this show, we solicit video questions from our friendos in the Patreon community at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. At $20 a month, you become eligible to run your video question right here on Matt Chat. It's a lot of fun. I love interacting with the friendos. It's a blast. Larson, I believe our community is best community.
Oh, easily.
Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So yeah, we've got a bunch of great video questions today, but before we get started with that, I want to let you guys know that you can find us right here at youtube.com/Stephen Larson, where if you hit that subscribe button and the notify bell, you will be told, well, not verbally, you'll be notified every time there's a new episode of Going In Raw. We're also available wherever fine podcasts can be found in the audio realm. If you have a few moments, if you want to help support Going In Raw in a free and easy way, subscribe to Going In Raw with whatever podcast app you use. And then maybe leave a comment or write a review if you have a minute of your free time. Really helps boost the exposure of Going In Raw. As I stated, we're also on Patreon. There's not just a $20 tier. There's all sorts of different reward tiers.
We should just have a $20 tier.
Just one single $20. We'll see how far that gets us.
Not very.
At $1, you can watch Going In Raw ad-free and enjoy most days, usually Monday through Friday, post-show. We're recording this on Wednesday.
Yeah.
There's no post-show today because the internet went down.
Yeah.
What a bummer. So lots of fun. That's good.
Let's go to our first question.
By the way, are you exhausted because 2 days ago or last night?
Yeah.
Not last night, the night before, we had our Super Showdown.
Well, it hasn't happened yet, so
stream.
no, I'm not exhausted yet.
I am so tired.
By this time this video goes up, yes, I'll be exhausted.
Just tired. All right.
First question from Nathan Cody. Let's see what Nathan Cody has to say.
G'day, Stephen Larson. It's Nathan Cody here with my very first Matt Chat question. It's very simple. Does Steph and Triple H need to go to the board and get rid of Vince? It's not ideal, but we get the creative that we want and they desperately need. See you guys later. Too sweet, hearty handshake.
Thank you, Nathan.
Debut Matt Chat question, I believe.
I love what's going on in the background there. Nathan's there from Australia, and there's a little flavor of whatever the hell the local stuff is going on there. I love that. That's what I love about Matt Chat. Oftentimes, people from all over the world will be sending in Matt Chat questions, and you can see like a little slice of what's going on there. And in this case, there was some sort of port, maybe, some docks.
Maybe.
And some noises happening.
Yeah, noises.
Anyways, welcome to Matt Chat, Nathan.
Yes.
I love this question. What do you think? You go first.
You want me to go first?
Do you think Triple H and Stephanie should kick the old man? Should they go to the board of directors and say, hey, Vince, he doesn't really know what he's doing anymore. Ratings are in the dumpster. Get rid of this guy.
Should they? Probably not. But because Vince is basically synonymous with WWE, so in that sense, Vince is synonymous with all of pro wrestling. However, for the sake of argument, sure, why not?
Yeah.
As you just said, ratings down, attendance down, interest down, everything heading down. Sure, they just negotiated 2 huge television contracts, but the trajectory of their television business, apart from the monetary aspect, all headed in the wrong direction. And you could lay a lot of the blame for that on, especially on Raw, crap creative. Who has final say in all things creative?
Yeah.
Vince.
Yeah.
Triple H is a guy who tried to lobby to get into the main event of WrestleMania 15. So he's an ambitious dude.
He was backstabbing people left and right.
He might not be engaging in that level of politicking anymore. But who's to say that he and Stephanie can't talk amongst each other? A few others in the higher up positions of WWE go to the board, make the case that Vince is out of touch, and say, kick him out, install us in power. We'll right the ship. It's not going to happen, and it probably shouldn't happen. It definitely shouldn't happen.
Definitely shouldn't happen. Here's why. Because the only metric that matters is money. It's the only metric that matters.
Especially to board members.
And they literally, have you seen their stock price?
It's pretty high.
It's obscenely high. They just made a shit ton of money off of TV deals massive amounts of money, and that's
money.
all that matters to the people in charge. And so, no, absolutely not. In fact, I think the stock price would probably start tumbling down because I think people, even though it's kind of interesting reading some reports about sort of the TV negotiations, how Vince wasn't really too hands-on with it, which at this point I guess he doesn't have to be. But still, I think people, they see Vince McMahon up at the top and they think stability. That's why they should not kick him off. I mean, what it should be is Vince should be relinquishing day-to-day creative to Triple H and Stephanie, and he can remain that sort of source of business stability up there at the top, and he can focus on the XFL. I saw there was a fairly interesting Twitter thread with Ryan Satin and God, I forget his name, but apparently he used to work for the WWE, and it had to do with the fact that nobody apparently, and this is interesting. I meant to talk to you about maybe running this on like the Friday show and talking about it, which may or may not happen, I guess now. But there was an interesting conversation about, does the WWE actually give a shit about ratings? Do they care? And the guy that Ryan Satin was talking to, and again, maybe we'll talk about this on Friday, said it was a resounding no. Like, they do not care at all, because the bottom line is the household ratings don't matter nearly as much as the demographic you're bringing in, and all the metrics in the world say the WWE is doing totally fine regardless of how bad the ratings are. That's an interesting take. It's something that would be fun to discuss, which is why I was going to bring it to you. Yeah. Because you're typically the producer of the Monday, Friday news shows in terms of the news that goes in. So no, WWE's doing just fine. Creatively speaking, is everything to my liking? No. Raw, I find kind of tedious these days. SmackDown, I love. It's like my favorite 2 hours of wrestling TV right now. NXT, I love. They have a very robust WWE network, which has become sort of the Smithsonian of wrestling content. So there's a lot right. There's a lot that you can point to at Vince McMahon and say, it's hard to, the proof is in the pudding. The results are there. Lots of money coming into the company. They're able to snatch up pretty much all the talent and whatever competitor they want to go after, for the most part. So I think they're probably fine with Vince at the top. Probably just waiting him out, basically. I mean, I personally would love to see Triple H and Stephanie at the helm, completely, totally, creatively speaking. But the bottom line is it's a business. It's not a business of catering to Steve's, proclivities.
No, it's a business making money. And so far with Vince at the head, they've been doing that.
Exactly.
So no, he should not be removed as head of the board. Next, Joshua Martinez,
the Dynamic Knight himself.
Let us see what he has to say.
Hey, friendos. So we saw how the attendance was for the New Japan show in Long Beach, and obviously it wasn't up to par to the other USA shows they had earlier this year and last year. So my question to you is the hype kind of dying down with New Japan, or is this just kind of a surplus of like big shows, especially with All In being not too long ago? I think it may be just the fact that All In wasn't not too long ago, and that's probably what caused the low attendance, but I'd be happy to see what you guys think. Thanks, friendos.
Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you, Joshua. You get to go first this time, Steve.
Nice. I'm going to say, excuse me. Is the hype dying down for New Japan? Yeah, sure it is. Of course it is, because they've been doing this for like a year now. Their shows here in the United States. As Kenny Omega correctly pointed out, there's a lot of empty seats at that last New Japan show. That's if you take a look at where the hype was when they started, and you take a look at what the hype is now, of course it's going to die down. Of course it's not going to be what it was before. Have they been successful in their expansion? Absolutely. More people are aware of the product. More people are probably subscribing to the network. But their rollout of their live shows here in the U.S. Probably were not executed the way they should have been. However, it's obvious from their rollout that they are in this for the long haul. They're not trying to be a one-time flash in the pan deal here in the United States and they disappear for a long time. They're rolling out a fairly ambitious live event schedule for the United States, and I think that's great. I think that people love New Japan. They've made their mark. They're going to continue to make their mark, but nothing's going to match the hype around that first show when everything sold out immediately. But you can't sustain that level of hype the entire time. So just the fact that they've been doing this for a little while now. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, sure. Absolutely it is. You see how many empty seats there were at that show?
The issue with New Japan and their expansion into North America is not so much a matter of hype or lack thereof, because fans are still really hyped to see their product. The problem is a matter of geography. They've gone to California too many times in the last year.
Kind of Los Angeles too many times.
Yes. If they had done the first show in Long Beach, done the second show in Long Beach at the Walter Pyramid, those both sold out super quickly. Then from there, if they had gone somewhere else, the problem is that the first couple times people will fly in for it. After that, they're not going to fly in for it. And so you got to take your product to other audiences. So instead of doing maybe the Cow Palace show, the third show this July, they should have went to Seattle, Chicago, which they probably would have done with All In, Philadelphia. Because we saw with All In and next year the G1 Supercard, if it's an event, if it's something that seems special, people are going to get excited about it and they're going to go.
Yep.
All In sold out quickly. A lot of New Japan talent there. They're co-promoting G1 Supercard with Ring of Honor at Madison Square Garden. Both those shows sold out quickly. The second problem they've been having is that I think we, as American audiences, for major shows, especially with WWE, we know what the generally speaking, or we can kind of project what the card is going to look like for that particular show. For the most part, WrestleMania is a little different.
Yeah.
But typically speaking, we know what the card is going to be a couple weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks out of the show actually happening. That hasn't always been the case with New Japan shows here in the States. This last one, they revealed the card 6 days before the show. So we don't know what there is to be excited about. Yeah. If they announced the cards sooner, if they started hitting different regions in the States, I think you'd see really healthy crowds. I think that's the two major issues. If they'd not done so many shows within the year here in California, if they'd gone to other regions in the States and tried to fill up 5,000 seat arenas, I don't think they'd have a problem the first time there.
Yeah, but I wonder if they're trying to, if the plan is to establish LA as,
they're trying to establish the West Coast as their base. Absolutely. No, I understand
and
that.
Specifically Los Angeles. They have the dojo here.
Yeah.
And so I think it's probably, they do things. They're not reactionary with how they plan. They're a stay the course long-term type thing. And I think part of it is with the Long Beach thing, it was interesting. And I don't know, maybe they do regret it. Maybe they think their rollout should have been different. I don't know. But it also wouldn't surprise me if they said, you know what, win, lose, or draw, we're going to run here in Long Beach again. And if we don't draw as many people as the first show, that's fine. We're just letting everybody know this is something we're going to do. This is where we are. This is our territory. And, we'll roll out maybe they'll do the Cow Palace again for their next show. I don't know if they have another one scheduled or not.
No, I don't think they have anything scheduled till G1
Madison.
Supercard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because usually at these U.S. shows, they'll announce the next show.
Because obviously,
that didn't happen.
The
this
MSG
time.
show, that's going to be a one-off. I don't see them trying to invade the East Coast necessarily. I think they're going to stick to the West Coast for now.
Well, I think the West Coast will be their base, but I think it would behoove them to start going other places.
Yeah, maybe. I don't. Maybe they're taking more of a territory approach. I trust New Japan. I trust their business practices, so I think they're fine. I think that with them, the philosophy, and this is a cliche, but slow and steady wins the race in terms of their own race to get where they want to be, is great because you see there's more steady buzz about what happens at their shows within the storylines than before they started, and that's what they want. They want the word to be getting out there, So, so yeah, no, it's all good. It's good stuff. Next up, we've got Devin. Let's see what Devin has to say.
Hey, Stephen Larson. It's Devin from the island again. We're here with another Matt Chat question. I'd like to thank you guys for mentioning me on last week's. That's always cool, and I hope you guys like the funny tweets I send you that I see online. Hope they brighten your day. My question is about the Royal Rumble. Right now, we're hearing a lot of speculation about it being a repeat winner, which a lot of people speculate could be The Rock or Roman Reigns, and it kind of disheartens me to see that it could be a very political Rumble this year versus previous years. I mean, could be like the Batista year. I want to get your takes on that, and how do you feel about the Women's Royal Rumble? I mean, could it be the rumored Charlotte, and then, like I said, we could have a triple threat, or how do we feel that that's going to play out as well? I mean, in order to get champion versus champion, they'd probably book Ronda Rousey in the event, but we'll see how that goes. I want to get your takes on the Rumble and your predictions and how you feel like 4 months out. I mean, we still got times away, but we'll see what happens. Thank you so much, Steve and Larson. Too sweet and a hearty handshake. Stay strong, brothers.
Thank you, Devin.
Thank you, Devin.
I got to go first. All right.
You go first.
So if we are to see a former Rumble winner win it again, here are our options. And this is any possibility. I guess I should toss Batista in here too. Batista, The Rock, Triple H, HBK, Undertaker, Rey Mysterio, John Cena, Randy Orton, Sheamus, Roman Reigns, Nakamura.
That's our field that we're looking at.
That's our field. Of these names, two stand out to me. One, we've heard they want to do Rock Reigns at WrestleMania. So I guess they could have The Rock show up and win the Rumble, which would be kind of lame because really anybody else should win the Rumble.
Yeah.
If they want to do Rock Reigns, there's a million other ways they can set that up without having The Rock win the Rumble. But if we have a story of Dean turning on the Shield and the main event to be at WrestleMania is a Shield triple threat for the Universal title, then have Roman Reigns win, or better yet, have co-winners of the Rumble, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
So then you have to do some weird storyline crap to get the triple
but
threat.
Here's
you
the thing,
establish
though.
that through the Rumble.
The precedent set for that, though, is at WrestleMania, Seth fights Dean first, and then later on in the main event, Roman Reigns gets to fight Dean second.
They can make up whatever rules they want, man.
I know. I'm just crying because why would they have done? Why did they ever do that at WrestleMania?
It's terrible.
10? That was
terrible
so
idea.
bad.
Terrible idea.
That was so bad.
As for the Women's Rumble, I really want Asuka to win it. Have her win the Rumble again. Have her actually win the title this time.
Yeah.
I think that would be great. However, I think Charlotte's going to come up short in her feud against Becky. Charlotte's going to enter the Rumble. She will win it. She'll challenge Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. That's what probably is going to happen.
Did they make? And again, they can change the rules whenever they want to.
Yeah.
Didn't they make
Yeah.
a big stink last year? No, that was Money in the Bank when they said you can only challenge for your brand.
Rumble this year it was either brand.
Oh, was it really? Okay.
Because at the end of the Rumble, they had Charlotte and Alexa Bliss come down the ring.
Man, okay, so never bet on them going all in on Roman Reigns. That's obvious at this point. But really, Roman Reigns again? The Rock would be whatever. He'd like the crowd would explode big time if The Rock won. It would be silly as hell or whatever. But Reigns, will they really risk Roman Reigns? They saw what a pop Shinsuke got last year.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns winning? Ugh.
That's why you have Roman and Seth win. People will pop for Seth.
Yeah, I know. That would actually be really good. That would be really good. My vote is for Randy Orton.
He's been doing great work.
He's been doing great work.
He's
torturing people.
Yeah.
And this is only for repeat winners. I kind of think that it should be Daniel Bryan, to be honest with you. Because Miz is going to take that title off AJ, and then it should be Daniel Bryan. But he hasn't won before. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like, number one, repeat means like back-to-back. Like this is just like previous winner. Like the person was as a previous winner. Repeat just means it's going to be Shinsuke again, which that doesn't really
or
seem like
or Asuka.
Or Asuka, yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. As far as the Women's Rumble, I'd like to see it be Asuka again. You know, they keep her really strong, They just don't have her doing anything of significance right now. So it'd be really nice if they brought her back around to significance by being the first, the only, after 2 years, the only person ever to have won the Women's Rumble. That'd be great. I could see it going much. I was just trying to come up with answers different than yours.
Yeah.
But Charlotte, Rock Reigns, I'll believe it when I see it. It wouldn't surprise me, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I know.
Charlotte, I could totally see that happening. That would make total sense.
Oh, yeah.
Her versus Ronda Rousey, that's a tricky situation, though. That's a tricky situation.
How so?
Because Charlotte has to lose
Yeah.
to Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
That sucks. And, I mean, that wouldn't present sort of a problem. I don't know. Charlotte gets booed these days, but that's because she's sort of in a Roman Reigns position. If Charlotte was, boy, I don't know. Even, Charlotte's like wrestling royalty. I don't know how the fans would react. If they want Ronda to get that face heat, to get the cheers against Charlotte, and here's the thing, even if Charlotte's a heel, that might make things worse. That may make people cheer for Charlotte even more if she was a heel. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
That's a tough situation. I feel like no matter what they do,
I don't think they care really about the crowd reaction. If they think the match doesn't get eyeballs.
Oh, by the way, I found the dude's name that Ryan Santos had that conversation with.
Oh, yeah.
It's Tom Casiello. Apparently he was writer of WWE product from 2011 to 2016.
Okay.
So
anyways, I don't think they care what the audience reaction is. They think Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey is going to bring mainstream attention. That's all they care about.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. You're probably right.
They don't care if it gets booed.
Next up, okay, so pay very close attention. Tim Spulak has a question. It is the shortest, I believe, in history.
It might be.
I think he beat Thayer Tabata's record.
Might.
Blink and you'll miss it. Tim Spulak, here's his question. Go.
Greatest wrestling botch.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. Wrestling's greatest botch. You go first because
all right.
One of your answers is absolutely, totally 100% the correct one. The other one shouldn't be funny, but it is. So you go first.
All right, the right answer is Shockmaster.
That's the right answer.
When he busts through that wall Kool-Aid Man style and trips over a board that was mistakenly placed there.
It is a true wrestling botch.
The whole thing, down to the spray painted Stormtrooper helmet, to Ole Anderson doing the voiceover and some
laughing.
Some gravelly voice.
Yeah.
Everything about it should have been totally, when it was pitched in the booking meeting, shot down immediately.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
And yet somehow it made it through.
But they went every step of the way. They did it. It was all bad.
Yeah, it was all bad. The fuzzy vest, the jeans, everything bad.
It was so weird.
None of it made sense.
And it was just weird.
One of the oddest had to be X-Pac ripping his butthole during a match.
Yeah. That's sad but hilarious.
It shouldn't be funny.
It should not be funny. But buttholes are inherently funny. And when you're in the middle of a wrestling match, which is inherently a ridiculous situation because it's a wrestling match,
and your butthole tears on the exposed turnbuckle,
and then you say the words to the ref, "I think I tore my butthole."
Yeah,
that's a terrible situation.
Oh, it sucks. It probably hurts so bad.
Oh, so bad. And if it hurt to me, if it happened to me, I would find the humor in it.
Mm-hmm.
Say, man, I come into work, man, God, dude. And you're like, what happened? I would text you as soon as it happened.
Oh, yeah.
I ripped my butthole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, come on, that sucks, but it's so funny. So there's that. I'm going to throw this out there.
This is another situation which it shouldn't be funny, but it definitely is.
It's less fun. It's less bad. It's not as bad as tearing your butthole. But when Vince McMahon ran down at the end of Rumble 2006, 5, something like that, to restart the Rumble between Batista and Cena, I think. And he tore his quads on the way to the ring. And he got in and sat there and started barking orders at everybody.
The funniest part is when he gets in the ring, tries to stand up, and it looks like his legs are made of Jell-O because they bow a little bit, and then he falls on his butt and just sits there.
Yeah. And he can't move his legs because they're gone.
Hats off to Vince for fighting that pain and performing.
And everybody else.
God damn, that must have hurt.
For trying their best, not successfully necessarily at looking like they're not thoroughly confused and staying in character. It's like, wait a second. I know what you're saying, but why are you sitting there? What's wrong? Can we get you some help? Can we get you some help, please? Okay, we'll continue the match. Just hold on a second. No, there was none of that. There was no concern for his legs. They were acting as if he was standing there and everything was normal.
That's what you got to do. Show must go on.
Right, but it wasn't normal. And nobody in that arena was taking it as something normal. So they should have probably reacted similarly. Mm-hmm. Like some people needed to help him up or something. I don't know. Oh, man. Boy, that was bizarre.
It was. It's funny in hindsight.
So, yeah. But all sorts of great botches out there. How about the dude just last year? That guy.
Oh, that missed the table? That one's real good, too.
Oh, man.
So many good ones.
That was my favorite gif of last year.
Oh, yeah. It was great.
All right. We got another question here from Original Sin Eric Sinat.
Yeah, another new Matt chatter. Let's see what Eric has to say.
What's up, friendos? The Original Sin, Eric Sinnett here with his first ever Matt Chat question, accompanied by Figgy the Furry Snake Roberts. Question for Steven Larson today is, what's the best way a babyface can give up or lose while in a submission hold? Would it be from passing out from the pain but never actually giving up, like Ember Moon did with Shayna Baszler or Steve Austin and Bret Hart? Or would it be where the story leads to such a peak where they've been in a hold for so long, like Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle, but he finally has to give in because he just can't get out? Love to know what you guys think. Too sweet, hearty handshake, and let's see who can win this debate.
Thank you, Eric Sinat.
Thank you, Eric. You go first, I believe.
So the right answer, it's passing out. I mean, if you look at the biggest double turn maybe in WWE history, it was what he referenced. It was Bret and Stone Cold. I mean, that one match arguably made WWE's biggest draw in history, as it turned Stone Cold from a heel to a face, passing out in a pool of his own blood. I mean, that's a prime example of a babyface losing in like the coolest way possible. So yeah, it's passing out for sure.
Yeah, probably, but
that's also a finish that you always advocate for.
I know it's hard for me to argue against it.
You don't have to. Tapping out.
Here's a problem. If you're a babyface and you tap out, you're a quitter.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to.
I think the only argument that could be made with tapping out is it's more relatable.
Oh, definitely.
You're relating, it's like, oh man,
definitely.
I totally understand that. I'm totally there with you. I would have done the same thing. So it's a more relatable action.
I don't know if people would really think about it in that sense, though. Like when HBK tapped out, he mentioned this in this question too, to Angle after being in the ankle lock for seemingly forever. Did you relate to that? You think, wow, if I was in that situation, I would have tapped out too?
Well, you relate to it in the sense that, oh man, I feel for that guy. So I think deep down, like if you're not thinking, oh, I would have done that too, I think there's sort of the inherent sort of, maybe subconscious of like, yeah, man, boy, nobody can expect that guy not to tap out. Whereas passing out, I wouldn't pass out. If I was given the option to like say I'm out of here, or I'll just wait until I pass out, I don't understand that at all. Just start tapping out. So I kind of think that it's a bit more relatable in that respect.
No, passing out's the right answer though.
Oh, totally, yeah, because they're supposed to be like superhumans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Next, Christopher Ramprasad. Let's see what Christopher has to say.
Hello, Steven Larson. So there's rumors that WWE might be changing up their network with their price rate and add additional content. You're going to be partnered up with ICW in Progress. So my question is, what would you add on the network to make bang for your buck?
Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you, Christopher.
You go first, Larson.
Oh, I do? Okay, this is what I want. I want all the Coliseum home video stuff on there. I know they've released some of it. I want all.
All of it.
All of it.
Including, let me ask you, what about like the Sable's home movie on the beach? It was like some of it was like her matches, but then the rest was like a bunch of like.
Is that DX tape that we used to watch all the time? Is that on the network?
I don't know.
I want that stuff.
Yeah,
that stuff was good.
I know.
Like the first compilation they made for The Rock, that was good stuff.
Yeah.
I want that on there.
This was like hosted by the wrestlers.
Yeah,
I know, it was great.
Stone Cold had one that was great too.
Yeah.
I want that stuff on there.
Yeah, it was really good.
And a lot of that Coliseum stuff, it was stuff that there's like some pretty major things that happened in some of those tapes.
Right.
And to not have a vast majority, if not all that stuff on there. Come on. Give me that.
Come on.
I know we've been hearing about ICW, Progress, stuff like that going on there. Progress has their own streaming service, yes?
Yes, in demand, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I really want to watch Progress, I can do that. In fact, that's the case for Evolve 2. But put Evolve on there. I think that'd be neat.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So I would like number one, offline viewing.
Yeah, that'd be huge.
There's not a lot of time. Like, we don't travel a lot, but it would have been nice to have it for playing.
Mm-hmm. But then you watch how many episodes of Narcos?
Oh man, mucho más.
Almost all of them.
Yeah. See. And then of course I'd like a TVMA, not TV14, mind you, TVMA ECW relaunch.
Oh dear.
Just so much cursing and blood, unprotected headshots, unprotected sex live on air. Like, basically I just want them to bring back XPW, not ECW, XPW, but even make it worse than it was before. Worse in quality and worse as in more salacious.
No.
That's what I want.
Sounds horrible.
Give Rob, what was the name?
Rob Black.
Give him a blank check.
No.
Do whatever you want
We
to do.
almost saw someone die at a show. I don't want to see that.
Hey, that's one thing I wouldn't mind seeing, the XPW library, so we can go back and revisit in high def if they shot that stuff on high def.
Oh.
They didn't even have
Get out of here with that.
I want to see me in the audience being horrified at watching Supreme get
running
lit
around the ring on fire.
I was like, oh my God, what have I got myself into? This could get worse for everybody.
I knew we were in for something else when a huge hunk of fluorescent tube goes flying to the audience.
Yeah, I was
Oof.
Let's get away from that. There's the Bada. Oh man, talk about a Matt Chat going in Raw Hall of Famer. This guy takes his Matt Chat question to the people of the Friendoverse, puts up the best questions up for a poll. They vote on it apparently this week. Oh no, he actually says.
Yeah, he'll say all this.
We'll let him say. There you go. There's the Bada.
Hey guys, I'm back. The Friendoverse has chosen a new question, and this one's a little bit special because this is the first question that was brought up by a friendo in the Friendoverse and ended up winning the poll. And that friendo is Church Jackson, who is the Adam Mayhem of stand-up comedy. Great friendo, awesome guy. And he's been really wanted to know what you guys thought about this question for a really long time. And here it is. He wants to know, is the Roman Reigns experiment ultimately just a big ploy to get John Cena cheered when he wins his 17th world title? Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Thayer Thabata.
Thank you, Thayer Thabata. I believe you got to go first here.
All right. No, man. No, of course not. The WWE doesn't even plan 2 weeks in advance on their TV. You think they plan 5 years in advance for when Cena wins number 17? No. There's no universe that makes sense. No.
No, but it's great. It's ridiculous and it's awesome. So I'm going to say yes. Why not? You know what I said about Roman Reigns when he was feuding against Sheamus? I said the reason they had put him against Sheamus is because Sheamus is the only person less popular probably in WWE than Roman.
That's true.
If you got a choice between having to cheer between Sheamus and Roman Reigns, this was back in 2015. You're gonna cheer for Roman Reigns.
Yeah, sure. And it
Fast forward a couple years. You got Roman Reigns as kind of like the evolution of John Cena. Gets a really he's a polarizing figure of the wrestling world.
Yeah. Gets
a wide spectrum of reaction from the audience.
Yeah.
But more booze.
A lot of booze. Some
more
cheers.
Booze. Some cheers. So if you say, okay, it's a dark, smoky room with one single light and everybody's smoking cigarettes.
Cigarettes, yeah, they have to be.
And they're like, how are we going to get John Cena to win number 17, eh? And have him get a pop from the crowd.
Yeah.
And then someone says, we'll build the more Cena John Cena.
Yeah.
This Reigns kid over here, he's great looking. He's got some skill. If we push him down everybody's throats, they're going to boo him because that's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that by the time WrestleMania 36 rolls around, we want Cena to break the most hallowed record in wrestling history.
Yeah.
Most championship reigns. It'll be a situation that's like, well, we really don't want Cena to break Ric Flair's record. At the same time, it's Roman Reigns here.
Yeah.
We don't want him to win.
Yeah.
It's brilliant if you think about it.
It would actually work right now too.
It would.
Cena came back and did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
But no, they don't think that far in advance.
Maybe they want you to think
they
that. They
stumble from one day to the.
They want you to think that.
They stumble hour to hour.
They want you to think that, Steve.
My goodness. I mean, what was that question earlier about the Rumble winner? Man, How many days is it between now and the Royal Rumble? What is it? We're in October, beginning of October.
90,
all of October, November,
100,
December, January.
110 days.
110 days. So
Roughly.
let's say the Rumble starts. It's 3:43 Pacific time now. Let's say the Rumble starts in 110 days and
3 hours,
6 hours, right? Because usually it's late at night.
All right.
It starts at 7. No, it starts at 5 our time.
No, it'll start at 4 now.
4 goes till 11.
8 goes till 8.
It's the Rumble. That's going to go to like.
They're not going to have
9.
a 7-hour show.
They will. It's going to go to 9. So that's 6. That's 5. 110 days, 5 hours away. They'll know 110 days, 4 hours from now. That's what it's going to be, man. Vince will wake up and still not know who he wants to win the Rumble. Are you kidding me?
Oh, they already know Roman Reigns is going to win it, man. Come on. He's a default.
He's penciled in.
Yeah. Next, Steve Zodiac Killer has got a question. Let's see what he has to say.
Hello, Stephen Larson. It's Steve's Zodiac Killer here with another match at question. This time the match at question is in relation to a UK wrestling legend, Doug Williams, who's recently retired after losing the Progress Atlas title. And I'd just love to know you guys' opinions on what WWE legend who's currently wrestling would you like to see have one more title run before he or she retires. For me, I'd love to see Goldust have an IC title run before he retires. I'd love to know you guys' opinions. Too sweet, heart handshake, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, my Zodiac Killer.
Thank you.
You go first.
Oh, Jeff Hardy. Give Jeff Hardy one more WWE title run.
Hey, man, I like his work right now.
Yeah, he's been doing great work since his return, since his singles push started. Yeah, I mean, nothing else. I know you're not a huge fan of this, but in the right circumstances, I am. A token of appreciation for a long career in the ring. He's done a lot for the company. Sure, he's been paid handsomely for his work. I'm sure, nonetheless, one last run of the title, I think, would be a really nice end to Jeff Hardy's career. I say yes to that.
You know, it'd be a great end to somebody's career.
This is ridiculous.
Universal Championship going to The Undertaker. Roman Reigns, I'm coming back after you.
You just put that answer down to say this.
It's Big Dog. Big Dog, time to put the big dog down like a dog. Let me tell you something, Pastor. So Vince McMahon called me and said, "Oh, hey, is this Undertaker? I'll see you next week." And I said, "Okay, that's fine." And then 28 years later, I'm Universal Champion now. I'm going to take that. And it works because the title is red, and that's the depths of hell are red too. I'm going to put Big Dog down like Big Dog.
All right, next question. AO Worm. Let's see what AO Worm has to say.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy AO Worm with another match chat question. All right, Steve Larson. I'm going to name off 5 wrestlers from ROH that I really enjoy watching their matches. And I want you to tell me how would they fare given 5 years in the WWE starting from NXT. So I'm going to give you guys Jay Lethal, Kenny King, Silas Young, Kelly Klein, and The Kingdom. Even though I know you guys don't know much about The Kingdom, they're a great team, so I need you guys to like either watch some matches from back in the day, back when Matt Taven had hair, or just wiki them and see what they've done in ROH. Side note, Matt Taven, the reason why he has the purple belt like that because he's literally one belt away from becoming another Grand Slam champion in ROH, and that's the world title. So you can possibly see them feuding with Jay Lethal in the future. But with that being said, let me know what you guys think. All right, guys, I'm about to go work out. Too sweet, hearty handshake. I'm out.
Thank you, AO Worm.
Thank you, AO Worm.
He's got us doing some friggin' research.
We did a little homework for this. I wasn't really familiar with Kelly Klein at all.
Me neither.
So we watched one of her matches.
Correct.
I haven't watched a ton of The Kingdom, but I've watched enough to get an idea of what they're about.
You've watched enough to understand that you're not huge into them, same as me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just start off at the beginning. Jay Lethal. What would be his ceiling?
I think he could be, for sure, a really good Intercontinental Champion. I think that could be his ceiling on the main roster.
See, I'm trying to... No, man. No, here's the thing. So Jay Lethal has And this should be a huge ceiling, Larson. This should be a massive ceiling. He's got Bob Roode ceiling. They're around the same level of stature.
Mm-hmm.
And where is Bob Roode right now?
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's hating life.
Yeah, seems
Jay
that
Lethal
way.
would be hating life. So
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
his ceiling, is hating life.
All right, Kenny King.
He's kind of younger, isn't he? Kenny King. Let's find out. If he's young, he's got a shot. Debuted in... he's 37.
Oh.
Sorry, Kenny King. Your ceiling is sub Bob Roode.
He could be a
Tag champion.
yeah.
Tag champion.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, that's even, depending on what brand you're on, that could be sub Bob Roode.
Oh, yeah.
Because the tag, well, I mean, I know the tag titles right now aren't a big group, but that's how bad they are. The tag titles aren't even in the tag division.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
terrible.
Next, Silas Young. He's 5th member of a faction.
Ouch! Ouch! Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah. He's
Man.
5th member of Sanity or something like that. I like Silas,
Yeah, man.
but he's getting up there in years.
okay,
He seems really rough around the edges.
Here's Silas Young's ceiling in WWE. It's No Way Jose. Guy who's basically a gimmick, who's kind of a one-dimensional character. And I like Silas Young.
I do too.
I really like Silas Young. He spits a lot.
Yeah.
He's frosted the mouth. He's got a great mustache.
Yeah.
He's great. He's great. But this is the WWE we're talking about here, man.
I know.
This is WWE. It's just to be anywhere on the main roster is rarefied air given how many people they're signing.
Yeah, I know.
Who do we got in NXT? Aleister Black, Gargano, Ciampa, Undisputed Era, Matt Riddle, Keith Lee. Look at all those names.
I know.
And Silas Young? No, man.
5th member of Sanity.
No Way Jose or 5th member of Sanity.
Yeah. Next, the Kingdom. Considering Adam Cole, and granted, I don't know how deep they want to get into Ring of Honor storyline.
Equipped, man.
Adam Cole, former leader of Kingdom, bring in Kingdom to NXT, feud with Undisputed Era.
Okay, yeah.
I think that would be a good start for the Kingdom.
I think you're right about that.
And I think, I think that'd actually be perfect for him.
Yeah. I don't know what
TK Orion looked jacked though at Death Before Dishonor.
I mean, I don't know enough about them. I saw when TK Orion
broke his leg.
That sucked.
Yeah.
Vinny Marseglia, is that how I say his name?
I think so. He's the one that...
He's got a great look to him.
He does, but when he was screaming a lot at Anniversary Show, I thought he was a little annoying.
Yeah. Here's my thing. I don't want to run these guys down.
No, I don't either.
I don't know enough about them. And here's the thing. Like AORM said, hey, can you watch some stuff of theirs? I need a bit more. Like what I've seen so far, I'm like, I'm not huge into it.
Yeah.
But I do need a bigger sample size.
Oh,
they could be the type that if I really got into it, I could be into it and I'd be like, okay, cool. But again, rarefied air.
Yeah.
Nothing really stands out for me right now.
I think that's the thing.
But if I was into it, I could be into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then Kelly Klein, I liked what I saw in that one match.
Mm-hmm.
She just seems like a wrestler's wrestler, I guess. You know, very sort of just going out there.
Seems like she'd fit right in with the NXT Women's Division.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I like that gimmick of gatekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
This next match chat. This is a swerve happens in this next. There's a
Well,
lot.
don't spoil anything, damn it.
A lot going on in this video.
It's from Bobby Mincy. Welcome back to Match
Welcome
Chat, Bobby.
back, Bobby Mincy. Woo!
Let's see what Bobby has to say.
But a short-lived.
Stop.
Go ahead.
Hey, Steven Larson, Bobby Mincy, and I'm back to Match Chat. I've been away for a while, but I have a whole bevy of questions I can't wait to ask you guys. But for my first Match Chat question back...
Hey guys, Ariana Martin here. With my first Match Chat question. I used to watch wrestling, and I'm wanting to get back into it. How would you suggest for someone like me to get back into wrestling?
Oh, my back.
Psh, you're fine.
Thank you, Ariana Martin. Wow. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen a chair shot.
That was like
an ECW level chair shot.
That was as shocking as Gato hitting Okada with the chair.
Totally, it was
shocking.
There was no punches pulled there, man.
None.
Ariana with the heel move, wearing the Slayer shirt.
Yeah. So if you're looking to get back into wrestling, start with NXT.
Okay.
It doesn't demand a huge time commitment like anything on WWE main roster. It's 1 hour a week, totally doable. There's a takeover quarterly, once every 2 or 3 months. Totally doable. You get good storytelling. You get awesome wrestling, all in an easily digestible package.
Yep. Not a huge time commitment.
No. If you like that, then you can get into some other stuff. Maybe you get into New Japan. Maybe you start watching SmackDown. Like Raw be end of the list. Raw be the end of the list right now.
Right.
It's just a huge. It's a time vampire.
It'll kill your soul.
Yeah, and when it's not good, it's very not good.
Yeah.
And you just feel like you're absolutely wasting your time. So start with NXT. Start with NXT. Start with NXT. What?
It's so long.
It is. It's so long. And when it's not good, it just feels even longer. It just feels like it's a 5-hour show.
It does, man. It just goes and goes and goes.
Start with NXT.
And then they have an overrun.
I know.
You can't get it.
The worst is when like the main event segment starts at like 10:59.
Like
you're like, God damn, they're gonna go 20 minutes over tonight, aren't they?
You can't fit everything into 3 hours. You need 13 extra minutes.
I know, it's too much, man.
What are you doing?
It's too much.
SmackDown gets it done in 59.59. NXT gets it done sometimes in like 56.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Start with NXT. Yeah. Go to SmackDown next if you like that, or New Japan. Because New Japan, if you really want to get to the intricacies of the storyline, you kind of have to pay attention to a lot of the Road 2 shows to get the dynamics. But if you want to just get the broad strokes of the story, you can watch the major shows and stay relatively caught up.
You can seriously you can kind of consider NXT. I mean, if you take the turnover rate out of the equation, people quantum leaping out to SmackDown. That is kind of the funny thing about NXT is that you can't really consider NXT like you can't. I mean, I guess you could, but you kind of can't just watch NXT if you really are invested in the characters because they eventually just quantum leap out of there. And it's
compared to being a fan of a minor league baseball team, you have to be a fan of the brand,
or you have to just appreciate what's happening in the moment
because it's not going to happen on the main roster.
No, it's not. It's not. Oh man, I really like Bob Roode as champion. Champion is endgame. That's it. That's it. Then they're gone.
Once they lose that belt and they're no longer on TV, just consider them.
Exactly.
Thanos got him. Who knows?
Just appreciate what you had. I'm having a heart attack. That's about NXT. You just have to appreciate what you have because then. Like Bob, somebody needs to dither away Bob Roode from that match, that last match on NXT. Yep. So no, you're absolutely right. NXT, that is the absolute answer. Not a huge time commitment. It's great in every single aspect.
Next, we got Christian. Let's see what Christian has to say.
Hey Steve, hey Larson. It is the Hall of Fame Christian here with another Matt Chat question. With the release of 2K19 here, when this video comes out, it will be here at the release. My question to you guys is, what is the top video game match? What is the top dream match that can never happen in WWE history that you want to see? I want to see Undisputed Era versus Four Horsemen versus NWO. That's just versus DX. Four corners. Yes. What about you guys? And argue which would be the better match or feud. Too sweet, hearty handshake. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you, Christian.
All right, dream matches that we'll never see that you want to see.
Daniel Bryan, Bret Hart, I guess.
I swear you're turning into #1 Bret Hart fan.
Yeah, I got a $45 shirt.
You got to be a #1 Bret Hart fan.
So heck yeah, man. No, I mean, Bret Hart, sort of the prototype, the forerunner of the Daniel Bryan type wrestler.
Top technical wrestler,
kind of undersized. Daniel Bryan obviously has like tons more personality in that he has personality in the first place.
Yeah.
But I think that'd be a good dream match. That's never going to happen. I like your answer better though. You did yours first before I did.
Yeah, Pete Dunne versus William Regal.
Oh man, that was great.
William Regal, brilliant ring technician, great character.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah.
Across the board.
Did you ever see that final promo of his in NXT? We'll have to watch it after this is done. He was taking on crap. I forget who now.
Yeah.
Cesaro. I think he was taking on Cesaro, and it was like his last match. And he did this really eloquent, amazing old wrestler thing. Yeah,
he's amazing.
He's the best.
Great in-ring performer. Great mic guy. Put him up against Pete Dunne. Oh yeah. Come on. Come on. Even
great.
Especially if they could do it now with the story they've kind of established during the first United Kingdom tournament, where William Regal was none too happy with Pete Dunne and his activities outside the ring in terms of beating people up.
Yeah,
be great.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Great.
Next up, Zach S., the IWGP Friendoverse champion. Let's see what he has to say.
Well, it's because even more than many friendos out there. It is Zach S. My question for this week for Matt Chat is, what are the 10 neatest things Edge has ever done? Thanks, boys.
Thank you, Zach S.
Thank you, Zach S.
So we're gonna do a thing. At some point. We've promised this on and off on the show. If you're an avid watcher of Going In Raw, you'll know that an episode we've always wanted to do of the old Count Out show, or maybe we'll do it as a list shock. I don't know. Top 10 neatest things Edge has done.
He's done a lot of neat things.
He's done a lot of neat things. Spoiler alert, #1.
Live sex show.
Probably going to be live sex show.
I don't think there's any probably about it.
We got to see 3 nipples in that live sex show, 2 of Edge's and 1 of Lita's. So, that's what it is. That's #1.
That's going to be #1. Cashing in on John Cena is probably #2. It's the first time it ever happened.
That might even be #1, to be honest with you. I don't know. But sex, like legit sex, out there in a wrestling ring, that's pretty
something
cool.
else, man.
Everybody likes to see that. It's like that scene in Boogie Nights when everybody's just at that party watching Little Bill's wife getting on with just some dude.
Yeah.
It was great. Next up, from Stephen M. Let's see what he has to say.
Goes out to Windows Example Digma. It's your Irish linguistic expert, Stephen M. here, or Smirk Galway, with another Match Chat question. Now, today I'm taking branding and products and giving it the wrestling flavor. So, what wrestlers should have their own line of beer, weed accessories like rolling paper and stuff, seeing as the friendo community is very 420 friendly and loves their beer. So obviously you can have Roman doing Corona ads, having his own limited edition Corona line. So I was wondering, Matt Riddle could have his own rolling papers and all that. So I was wondering what ads and what wrestlers, pick 5 each, and who should promote what. Too Sweet, Hardy Handshake, Steve Shoulder Lean. See you later.
Thank you, Stephen M.
Thank you, Stephen M.
Here, let's alternate.
Okay. Bong Lesnar.
All right.
Talking about weed paraphernalia.
Yeah,
It'd
that's
be a
good.
bong after Bong Lesnar.
Yeah, for a Lesnar beer, it would be Bach Lesnar.
That's good.
Rather
That's
than
good.
Brock.
Yeah.
Bach.
Yeah. For an ale, Braille Wyatt.
Okay.
Braille Wyatt.
Not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Something to put your weed paraphernalia in, as well as your actual stuff, or your stash. Stash Wilder.
Oh, I like that. That's good. How about this? Sometimes I like to drink a fine gin, and from no wrestler other than Gin Balor.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's only the finest gin.
So say Roman Reigns is like the spokesperson for a healthy eating campaign.
Oh, sure, yeah.
There's all sorts of variants you can do on his name, such as Romaine Reigns.
Oh, I like it.
Lettuce, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Roman whole grains.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
Whole grains, good for you.
Sure.
Keep you full.
Hearty, yeah. I like this. So a Roman Reigns laundry detergent called Roman Get Out Your Stains.
That's good.
Yeah.
He starts losing his hair a little bit. Roman
Yeah.
Rogaines.
Rogaines. I like it all. All great answers.
All good answers.
Samuel O is up next. He's got some fantasy booking. Let's see what he has to say.
So I was thinking really hard about this. When Leo Rush, everybody from 205 Live and NXT kind of started showing up on the main roster, it made me think, what would be the ultimate cool end game that no one would see coming? And then it hit me like a sack of bricks. What if we get closer to Survivor Series and all of a sudden we start finding people knocked out here and there? A couple more times. And Raw and SmackDown are like, well, it had to have been Raw or had to have been SmackDown and had to have been Kurt Angle's come back or Shane O'Mac's back. Oh, God. But it's NXT and 205 Live because they've come up to show everyone what they can do because they're the ones fixing the issue with the main roster. And they're sick and tired of playing second fiddle. So instead, they're going to take matters into their own hands. And we're going to get NXT 205 Live versus Raw and SmackDown for Survivor Series. Fresh. Interesting. A little lopsided in the women's division. But the NXT ladies can easily make up for that. Easily. But anyway, kind of wanted to hear your, kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on it, if I could get those words out. Hope you're both doing well. Too sweet. Hearty handshake. And remember, above all else, keep it filthy, friendos. Later.
Thank you, Samuel O.
Thank you, Samuel O.
Interesting fantasy booking suggestion from Samuel O. What do you think about it?
I mean, I guess it would infuse some freshness into the product. However, I can't think of any universe in which WWE would allow Raw or SmackDown to lose to 205 Live or NXT.
Yeah. That's sort of the problem is that, number one, you'd be...
you'd have never seen a Nexus situation.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. You'd also be sort of blowing your entire wad. Like NXT, they've got all their own... They do a really good job of having all their own rivalries and feuds. Like, there's no way the Undisputed Era would ever team up with
like
Aleister Black, Pete Dunne, Johnny Gargano.
For the sake of taking on the main roster.
Right, exactly.
No.
Ciampa, Gargano, two of the biggest stars. They're obviously not going to team up. Aleister Black don't like anybody. So that would sort of be... Like, with 205 Live, there's a bit more sense of... See, 205 Live, actually, I would actually prefer the situation if NXT wasn't in it, but 205 Live was.
Yeah, agreed.
There's a bit more sense of camaraderie because it's the spirit of competition, maybe, with those guys.
It'd be easier to find 5 competitors who are at the top of the card who could conceivably work together as well.
Yeah, sure. And they can take a very spirited babyface loss. That'd be good.
All right, we got one more video question from, wardrobe change.
Yeah, I'm going to do that real quick. I threw up all over myself and you. I'm sorry for that.
I mean... I
apologize.
Unfortunately, I have time to take a shower before we continue, so I reek of Steve's vomit nonetheless. Work must go on.
It does.
Got a question here from Loki. Let's see what Loki has to say.
Hello, Stephen Larson. Loki Richard here. Back from my excursion into WCW. The Freak of Flight is back. My question for you this week is, retrospectively, did WCW disrespect lucha culture by making all the wrestlers dismask? Or was it a good money-making opportunity? Have fun with the debate. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Loki.
Thank you, Loki. I mean, so it all kind of depends. Like, my gut instinct is this. Yes. Because, like, do you really think the people in charge at WCW, I always want to say WCW would have cared about lucha tradition? The cynic in me says no.
I think there was probably some who had wrestling experience that probably cared. Eric Bischoff, I don't know. Since he wasn't a wrestler, he hadn't wrestled, apart from WCW. Well, no, he was involved in AWA, but I don't think he had traveled.
Yeah.
Like, say, Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
You think Arn Anderson would appreciate and know of the lucha tradition?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if Bischoff necessarily would, or if he would he care enough to put that ahead of whatever ideas he had? I just don't know.
Do we know, off the top of your head, do you know who is in charge when, like, Ray, for example? Because, like, Ray...
Juventud.
Did Juventud have a mask?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Juventud...
I think, maybe not.
I don't know if Juventud ever had a mask.
Maybe not. Yeah, you're right. I don't remember having a mask in WCW.
Who else unmasked?
It was Ray. Did Conan unmask in WCW?
Mm-mm. Unmasked and WCW. Let's just look this up here real quick. So Rey Mysterio got unmasked in 1999.
Nah, it might have been Russo then.
That might have been a Russo thing. Let's see here.
That was what, October '99 that Russo went over there.
Something like that. I'm just looking at.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Reddit right now.
Yeah, I guess we can just speak in general terms, though. Not necessarily. It all depends on the motivation. It all depends on their understanding of lucha culture and tradition. And without knowing that, it's kind of hard to say if it was disrespectful or not.
Mm-hmm.
You would like to hope that whoever was getting their mask removed was cool with it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a situation where they were essentially ordered to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've not really read up on the stories of what led to wrestlers getting unmasked in WCW.
I mean, if you sort of take the entirety of it, it definitely, like, in the end, doesn't really feel like it was worth it. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, it doesn't. They didn't do any, like, cool story. I mean, I vaguely remember it, but, like, there were no real cool stories in WCW.
I mean, and then Loki, hearing this question, thought, asked, did you think it was worthwhile from a marketing standpoint? When was Ray at his most popular? In WWE with the mask on.
Oh yeah, he never took it off in WWE.
No.
Yeah, no. They probably never should have done that.
No.
And it was it never in the end it doesn't matter because WCW would have sank into the pit it ended up sinking into anyways. So it didn't do anything. Of course, that's what they did. What pop ratings?
Yep.
Pop ratings. They used it to pop ratings.
Yep. 1 or 2 week pop ratings, and that was it.
Exactly. Garbage. So no, garbage idea. Unless it was Ray's idea, unless Ray wanted to do it. Maybe he wanted to do it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, he didn't bother to research it, so who knows?
No, we're just going on this uninformed opinion.
Exactly, yeah. So I just tend to err on the side of nobody cared about anybody in WCW. It's probably wrong to think that way. It's probably not the right way to go.
It might not be right, but
I'm just cynical about it.
Well, also based on what we've heard about how that company was run.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, to a certain extent, it wouldn't surprise me if everybody just had their own agendas.
Yeah.
And didn't really care what anybody else was doing.
Yeah.
So who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Good question, though.
Yes,
Good
great question. Thank you.
An awesome mask you have there. Oh, it says here, look, breaking. I was strongly against it. This is from Sportskita, and it's a video clip from 1999. I don't think WCW understood what the mask meant to me.
The fans wanted Rey Mysterio with the mask, and losing it hurt me a lot. It was also frustrating that I didn't come as a climax to a feud with another masked wrestler but in a throwaway match.
So Juventud did have one. He said the same thing happened to Juventud in Psychosis, and psychologically wise, it was a bad move by Eric Bischoff. I think the fans understand I was in a position where I had no option. I either had to lose my mask or lose my job. There's your answer. Yeah, terrible idea.
Yeah.
It was all on Bischoff, so screw him. And glad that Rey Mysterio went on to massive success.
Yes.
Success.
Yes.
And then finally, we have a text question from Ron P. And it is this. Hey, friendos, this is my first Matt Chat question. Welcome, Ron P.
Welcome.
With WWE's Women's Revolution in full effect, when do you think will be the end of it, if there is one? To have women main event a WrestleMania, or to have women main event a match in Saudi Arabia? I think at some point when they'll stop talking about history and evolution and revolution and stuff. Once they've sort of done everything, boy, main event, like even having a match in Saudi Arabia, I don't know. At that point, I'd be like, okay, the day is done. We did it, everybody. Because that's a huge.
That's
I don't
massive.
I don't think people quite understand how big that would be.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't think it's going to happen. Probably ever. I really don't, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is the government of Saudi Arabia we're talking about here. Steeped in their own traditions, you know? I just, you know, and to them, number one, the money that they're throwing WWE, obviously from our point of view, is a ton of money.
Oh, yeah.
From their point of view, it's probably chump change. You know what I mean? Oh, it's just entertainment. Let's just bring them over here. You think you're going to... I'm sorry, you think you're going to affect change in our country? We're paying you to put on your little song and dance routine, and you think you're going to bring women here to do... I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. It sucks, and WWE should rightly be taking a task for it, but I just don't see it. I would be very surprised if it happened.
Of these two options listed here, women main eventing WrestleMania is going to happen first.
Oh yeah, that will happen.
Yeah.
That will absolutely happen.
It could happen as soon as next year.
Might happen next year. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I should say this. I don't know enough about the government of Saudi Arabia to tell whether or not they'd be ever open to change.
Yeah, I don't know.
From what I've heard, they don't come off like it. You know, they just don't. I mean, they put WWE on blast last year for running a commercial with like Sasha in it.
And Carmella, yeah.
And Carmella.
In the wrestling gear.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. WWE can talk about trying to affect change all they want. They're doing that for the big, big money. Big money. So, I don't know, man. I think that once Ronda and Charlotte have their match in the main event at WrestleMania, which is a very distinct possibility as the first main event, women's match in WrestleMania. Once that happens, I could see them, when the Mae Young Classic, if that's going to be a yearly thing, they might talk about it, but at some point it's going to be like, okay, we get it. You made history. Now let's just appreciate the wrestling, You don't have to talk about that. And they kind of dialed it back a little bit this year for the Mae Young Classic.
They did, yeah. Yeah.
And that's, that's good. Like, focus on the wrestling. That's what you should be doing. If they were to affect that change in Saudi Arabia, they should rightfully be able to take as many victory laps as they want.
Yeah.
I mean, that's serious. If they're able to do that, then they have the right to say, see, we did something fairly significant.
Yeah.
That they can definitely hang their hat on.
Yeah.
So, and at that point, what else is there to do? In terms of, hey, we're, always making history. It's like, you're good.
No, I can't really think of anything offhand.
Yeah. So, I mean, when Vince retires, Stephanie steps up as the actual head of the company. That'd be probably
pretty,
something they could talk
pretty
about.
Huge, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be huge.
Yeah.
So there you go. But as to whether or not they'd ever stop talking about it, yeah, probably. I mean, they've done so many things at this point to sort of stake their claim on, hey, we're trying to change things for women in the business. That at some point they're going to run out of things to do, and it'll just be par for the course. So, anyways, that's another episode of Matt Chat in the books. Thank you, everybody. And again, at patreon.com/Stephen Larson, you too can participate in Matt Chat. It's a lot of fun. We love all these videos that we get.
We
They're
do.
Very interesting and fun and all that stuff. I'm done talking for this.
Yeah.
Till next time, I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.